The Philadelphia 76ers have a huge problem, and it's not going away anytime soon. Their so-called Big Three of Tyrese Maxey, Joel Embiid, and Paul George has only played one game together all season in a game that they lost, and as of right now, even with three superstars, they sit last place in the entire NBA with a record of 2-12 and a 143 win percentage. They're already 12 and a half games back of first place in the Eastern Conference, which is insane when you're only 14 games in. And what's more concerning is that they have two huge issues. Number one, their players cannot stay healthy. Tyrese Maxey has missed time. Joel Embiid has only played in, I believe, 4 games. And now Paul George has been ruled out for at least the next 2 games with a bone bruise in his knee after a crazy hyperextension. And we don't know how much time he's going to miss. So this team cannot stay healthy. And the only player that has actually stayed remotely healthy is Jared McCain. And he's actually been really good for them. And their second major problem is that even when their stars have been on the court, they haven't actually been all that effective. Tyrese Maxey has been very good when he's been on the floor, averaging 25 points per game, but he's only shooting 39% from the field and 26% from three. And when Joel Embiid has been on the floor, he's been even worse, averaging only 19.8 points and 7.5 rebounds while shooting 37.9% and 16% from the three-point line. Joel Embiid has been one of the most talked about and scrutinized players in the entire NBA for the past few seasons, and this was supposed to be the season where you add Paul George, you draft Jared McCain, who's an NBA-ready pro, and this was the year that Joel Embiid was supposed to lead this team to the promised land. And now, even when he's come back and is healthy a few games into this season, now he's been absolutely awful, and there looks to be no hope for this Philadelphia 76ers team. And Paul George, even before he was injured, has not been playing well. Paul George, in his time so far in Philadelphia, is averaging 14.9 points and 5.4 rebounds a game on subpar shooting splits, shooting 38% from the field and 27.8% from the three-point line. All three of these players are playing subpar basketball and cannot stay healthy. None of them have played over 8 games this entire season. And when you look at the Philadelphia 76ers on paper, you have Paul George, Joel Embiid, who's an MVP level player. You have Tyrese Maxey, who's an elite scoring guard. And then you add Jared McCain. You have guys like Kyle Lowry, who are there for veteran support. You have Kelly Oubre. You have a lot of depth as well. And it's starting to look like this team is an utter failure. But more than that, Joel Embiid had to prove himself this season. He had to show the haters and the doubters that they were wrong and that he could lead a team deep into a playoff run. But as of right now, it doesn't even look like there's going to be a playoff run for him to prove himself in, because they're 2-12 and sit in last place in the entire NBA, not even just their conference, but the entire NBA. They're sitting behind teams that are actively tanking to try to get Cooper Flag come NBA draft time, which is probably the craziest part of this whole saga that they have going on right now in Philadelphia. And Joel Embiid has a terrible look going on, but it's not just him, it's the entire Philadelphia organization. This organization has proven time and time again, even going back to the Ben Simmons days, in that they cannot keep players healthy. They have 3 stars now, and they're all getting outperformed and outplayed by a rookie who was not even a lottery pick. So this team has to get it together, but they're running out of time to do so. If even 1 or 2 of their stars were playing well and one of them was hurt, we would be like, oh, this team will catch its stride come playoff time. They'll be fine. But they're 2-12 and they haven't even shown a semblance of being a competitive team. Even when Joel Embiid in their last game played fairly well, had 35 points, and all 3 stars played together, they still lost by a fair margin. On top of all of this, Tyrese Maxey apparently got into it with Joel Embiid for not being the leader that they need and for being late to team meetings and film sessions. And when this team is already struggling in the wins column, they're already struggling to stay healthy, they're already struggling with team chemistry. That is the last thing you want to hear coming out of Philadelphia right now. And this team is an utter disaster. And right now, I don't see this team as a top 6 to 8 team in the Eastern Conference. This team cannot stay healthy, cannot gel, cannot get anything going. I feel bad for Jared McCain because as a rookie on a superstar-laden team, he is leading this team to wins at a certain point. He is actually playing well, and if he had been drafted to anybody else, look at Dalton Connect in Los Angeles. That team is actually winning games, and Dalton Connect is producing for them. But Jared McCain is producing for Philadelphia, and they're still losing games, and they've been terrible. Imagine this is your first NBA experience, and you're so excited to play with Paul George, Joel Embiid, Tyrese Maxey, all these players, but this is your first experience in the NBA, and your team is terrible despite your best efforts. Let me know if you think that Philadelphia will make the playoffs or if they will miss the play-in completely and remain as a bottom feeder in the Eastern Conference. God bless you all. Have an amazing day. Make sure to subscribe to the channel. God bless.